Garden Warfare 2 has some of the coolest movement I have ever seen in any video game. Almost every character can fly across the map and do all sorts of crazy stuff, and in today's video, I'm just going to talk about every character's coolest movement, every character's movement options, and some fun facts. So get tuned in, grab a snack, and let's just enjoy ourselves, talk about some cool movement in Garden Warfare 2. If you guys enjoy this type of content, make sure to subscribe, like, and share with all your friends. Let's try to grow the channel, and yeah, let's get into it. So on a base level, if there's any sort of hill or slope in Garden Warfare 2, if you perfectly time your jumps while going down, you'll gain a bit of momentum. And this is obviously faster than walking, as I'll show right now. If you were just to walk down, you're just slowly and you're all open, and there's not really much you could do. However, if I go jump, 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 I go much further, much quicker, and I could also do stuff like use my abilities out of my jumps, and there's just so much potential there. Almost every character in the game can use momentum hill to their advantage. There's only two that can't. The Rose can do it, but as you can see, I'm barely getting any momentum from this, so there's no point of doing this with the Rose, which is kind of sad because the Rose would have really cool movement options. The other character that can't gain any momentum from vertical hills is the Hover Goat, which is pretty much identical to the Rose. This is also kind of sad, but the Hover Goat has really good movement on his own, with his strafing being the best in the game, and he's a very hard target to hit. That's the only movement options Hover Goat has, sadly, so we're not going to be talking about it for the rest of the video. You may be thinking, what has the best movement in the entire game? And I think it is the Shrimp Mech from the Imp class. This thing is a 300 health monster, but it has one ability that literally lets you fly across the map, and if you pair spamming the jumps as you hit the ground, you could pretty much glide across the map. The right ability, Shrimp Jump, also has a hitbox. It does like 50 damage, I believe, so that's pretty cool. You could also string the Shrimp Jumps together. You could use one and then mix up the other one mid-air, and you could also pair that with the jumps, like I said. This thing is an absolute beast. I think the Shrimp Jump might actually be the best ability in the game. Also, this mech can do the vertical momentum like I was talking about before, but there's not really a point because, you know, Shrimp Jump exists. The Shrimp's best movement option is obviously jumping down hills, just like pretty much almost every other character in the game, but he has an extra advantage of his movement with his directional jumps. Shrimp has really cool movement. Let's go over some of the mech's other movement options. The Drake mech actually has 4 really small jumps. These can surprisingly be useful in very weird niche scenarios, but I think it's a thing that I'm glad is in the game. It's a really cool mechanic and it's kind of obscure, but it's really fun if you find the right times to use it. Little Drake's sprint tackle can also be used to get some momentum out of. The last thing I thought was worth mentioning with the imps was how the Pylon mech can also get momentum out of using the sprint tackle, which I'll show later in the video with the all-stars, but you can go really far and fast with this. Let's move on to a different class though. The Citron outside of his ball can also get vertical momentum, but let's talk about him being in the ball. His left ability with the ball obviously just gives him a ton of speed, but his right ability, you could charge it up, and if you time it perfectly when you jump out of it, you could pretty much get a ton of momentum out of this thing, and you could just rush people and shoot while you do it, and it's really fun and really cool. That's definitely Citron's best option for movement. Jumping out of the ball, even just like that, if you get a bit of momentum, you could get a lot of hops, which is obviously faster than just slowly walking as the Citron. So I think that's Citron's best movement option. Citron has some cool movement stuff. The Corn can also slope jump, but the thing I think is really important with him is if you use your middle ability, Husk Hop, time the jumps perfectly after, you could get some speed after doing that, and you could fly across the map. So it's very useful, but that's all for Corn. The Peashooter has some of the best movement, if not the best movement in the game, besides characters like superheroes or the Shrimp Mech, which we talked about earlier. The Peashooter has probably one of the most famous things in the game, known as bean jumping. If you use your right ability, Hyper, and use the bean bomb at the same time while jumping with Hyper, jump off the bean bomb midair, you could fly across the map. So jump, use the bean bomb, jump again, and you could fly really fast. You could also pair this when you touch the ground to get a ton of speed. This works the best with the Dark Bean Bomb because you get 2 bean bombs, meaning you could go twice as far if you want. Really good stuff. Let's talk about superheroes next. I think we should talk about some more zombies. The superhero is pretty similar to the Peashooter. If you jump and use your heroic kick, you could fly across the map. You want to make sure you're not holding your analog stick or keyboard in any direction when you do this. Jump in place and then press the right ability button. Otherwise, you won't gain any momentum and it'll look like this. After you do it, you'll just stop and you see how I kind of just fell like a brick there. Make sure not to jump too high or else you'll lose all your momentum. But if you do it in the right spot, you could pretty much glide across the map with this thing. Makes the superhero class way better, and I don't know how good they would be if they didn't have this, to be honest. The pirate can also get momentum off of hills like pretty much any other character in the game. Pirate actually has some good vertical movement options. If you use the barrel to the back against a wall, detonate it, hold back, and jump at the same time, you could reach some areas that you normally can't without the barrel. Makes the pirate class a lot better in my opinion because you could get some really good sniping positions. Similar to superhero, the foot soldier's rocket leap can be chained together with jumps to make it go much further than intended. I really think this makes the soldier class a lot better because it could allow you to flank and get in on people really easily when using your rocket jumps. The engineer can get momentum off of hills like any other character in the game. That's his primary movement option, but he has another one you might not know about. In riding your jackhammer, you could cancel it by clicking the cancel button. You cancel it, you could actually perfectly time it and gain a ton of momentum. This is definitely one of the more difficult ones to do in the game, but if you could get it, you could actually gain a ton of speed, but it's not really the most useful thing in the world. I'd mainly use it when you know your jackhammer is about to run out and you want a little bit extra speed to get in. Again, the scientist can also jump down hills, and he actually has really good and fast jumps, so one of the better jumpers going down hills. But by far the best movement option for scientists is using the heal bomb, which is normally a healing item, but I want to show you something cool you could do with it. This is definitely one of the more inconsistent ones in the game and probably the hardest one to do, but if you could pull it off, you could go some really far distances with the heal bomb, and it's really odd, and it could almost be used as another warp. So that's pretty cool. The heal bomb also has a really good recharge. As you can see, it's almost done already. So definitely use this. I think the heal bomb is much better than the sticky grenade, and you can go really far and fast with this thing. Really, really cool. You can also chain jumps out of it like I just showed. The all-star sprint tackle can be used similarly to the superhero's kick. If you jump and not hold your stick in any directions, you could also chain jumps out of the sprint tackle and go really far across the map. The sprint tackle also has a really fast recharge, so if you want to go across the map really quickly, definitely use sprint tackle. For some reason, the alternate ability ultra tackle cannot be chained with momentum, as when you use it, you pretty much lose all your momentum, which kind of sucks. That's why I prefer to use sprint tackle. Otherwise, the ultra tackle would be a better ability in my opinion. The chomper is benefited greatly also from jumping down hills. If you jump and use the burrow at the same time, you could jump off ledges and go underground. It looks kind of odd, but it's actually really useful. Definitely use this if you want a little bit of extra momentum when you use your burrow. If you press the B button or the cancel button before the burrow meter is completely depleted on the bottom of the screen and use your jumps out of it, similar to the engineer's jackhammer, you could gain a ton of momentum. Press the cancel button now, and as you can see, I kept all my momentum from the sprint burrow on my regular character. This is Chomper's best movement option, unless you're using one of the warp chompers in my opinion. The Sunflower's great speed pairs really well with jumping down hills. This isn't really movement related, but I'd highly recommend using your heal flowers as stepping stools to reach areas you normally can't. This is really useful on a bunch of maps. Definitely use this more. The Cactus unfortunately doesn't have that many movement options, with the only one being jumping down hills. Pretty much like almost all the other characters in this game, except this character doesn't have really anything and has very bad speed. You can get a lot of speed jumping on hills, pretty much like with any character, but the Cactus you're not really needing to move around too much. Just like the Sunflower, I'd highly recommend using walnuts to jump onto areas you normally can. The final character we're going to be talking about is a Torchwood, which again is just jumping down hills and timing your jumps perfectly. However, the Torchwood's middle ability, Smoldering Madness, which gives him a fire buff, actually increases his speed. Watch me walking right now, and now watch when I have the buff. As you can see, I'm walking a bit faster, which means you'll go down hills faster when you have this ability. So, if you're trying to go across the map quickly with Torchwood, maybe use Smoldering Madness. I don't know. That's actually one of the best abilities in the game. Thanks for watching today's video, guys. I really hope you guys enjoyed learning about the different movement options in Garden Warfare 2. There's a lot of really cool ways to move around in this game, and I don't think it would be the same if any of this stuff wasn't in the game, as it just makes the game so much more fun to play than any other game in my opinion. But I hope you guys enjoyed. Remember to subscribe and like the video, and let me know what you guys would like me to talk about next. Thanks for helping me reach 14,000 subscribers, it really means a lot. Take care, guys.